All right, let's talk about social media automation. For a long time, it's been about one thing, scheduling. But what if that's the wrong way to think about it? Today, we're diving into a totally different approach, something called Algorithmic Content Engineering. And we'll look at a tool, SocialCraft AI, that's really built around this idea. It's not just about when you post, but how you post to please those all-powerful algorithms.
So, let me ask you something. Think about the social media tools you're using right now. You know, the ones that are supposed to make your life easier. What if I told you they might actually be hurting you, secretly working against your content and killing your reach? It sounds kind of crazy, but it's a real question we need to ask.
And here's why. The vast majority of these tools are what you could call blind schedulers. They're basically just content cannons. You load up your post, and they just fire it off to the API, completely blind to what the platform actually wants. They don't know the rules, the little quirks, or the ranking signals for each network. And the result? Well, your content can get throttled, basically suppressed, before anyone even gets a chance to see it.
Okay, so that's the problem. But this is where things get really interesting. There's a huge shift happening, a move away from fighting the platforms and toward working with them. And this is all about something called algorithmic engineering. So what on earth is algorithmic engineering? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's the art and science of creating and formatting your content specifically to make a platform's algorithm happy. Think of it like this. It's not about trying to game the system or find some sneaky backdoor. No, it's about learning to speak the algorithm's native language, playing by their rules to get the best possible organic reach.
Okay, that might sound a little abstract, so let's make it real. How does this actually work? Well, for example, on LinkedIn, you know how they hate it when you post external links in the main text? An algorithmic tool automatically moves that link to the first comment so your reach doesn't get throttled. Or think about Instagram. Instead of just a single image, it'll generate a native multi-slide carousel because it knows the algorithm loves that. It's so smart it can even check what tier of Twitter user you are, free, premium, whatever, and adjust the character limits for you. It's this level of tiny, platform-specific detail that makes all the difference.
So you're probably wondering, how does a system actually do all of this? Let's pop the hood for a minute and take a look at the tech stack that makes this whole content engine run.
So the whole thing is built on a really modern serverless setup, which is just a fancy way of saying it's super efficient. The brains of the operation, that's Google's latest AI suite. Gemini for writing, Imagen for pictures, and Veo for video. For the infrastructure, it's using Supabase for the database and logins. The actual automation, the heartbeat of the system, is handled by things like Dino Edge functions and GitHub Actions. And of course, security is a huge deal. All your social media access tokens are locked down tight with military-grade AS256 encryption. And the actual workflow for a user is incredibly simple. It's basically 5 steps. First, you just give it some fuel. It could be a simple topic, a link to an article, or even a super dense research paper. Then, step 2, the AI gets to work and creates what's called a playbook. This is the whole game plan, with all the text, post ideas, and even prompts for visuals. Step 3, it actually makes the media for you using Imagen or Veo. Step 4, it tells you the best times to post. And finally, step 5, a simple scheduled job, takes care of publishing everything. The whole thing is a closed loop. From a simple idea all the way to a published post, no other tools needed. So when you put all of that together, you have to ask, where does a tool like this even fit? I mean, the social media tool market is packed, but this isn't just another scheduler or another AI writer. It's really creating a whole new category of its own.
So let's stack it up against the tools we all know, like Buffer or Hootsuite. The biggest difference, hands down, is what we're calling platform awareness. Those legacy tools, they're doing that blind broadcasting we talked about. They just send stuff out into the void. An algorithmic engine, on the other hand, engineers the post. It knows the rules, it knows LinkedIn hates those links, it knows Twitter has weird character limits, and it adapts on the fly. That context, that is everything.
Okay, but what about the pure AI writers, something like Jasper? I mean, those tools are amazing at writing copy, right? But that's where their job ends. You get this brilliant text, and then what? You still have to figure out how to get it published, usually with another tool, maybe some complicated Zapier integrations. This is what we mean by closing the loop. A tool like SocialCraft AI handles that critical last mile. It connects the writing directly to the publishing, all in one seamless process.
So who is this really for? You can kind of break it down into 3 main groups. First, you've got your thought leaders and academics, brilliant people who need to take really complex ideas from, say, a research paper and make them digestible for social media. Then you have the growth hackers, the people managing a ton of platforms who live and breathe platform-specific SEO and optimization. And finally, there's the modern small business, the ones who need amazing content but just don't have the budget or time for a full-on design.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. All this cool tech is great, but what's the actual bottom line advantage here? What do you get by going all in on an algorithmic first approach?
Well, first up, let's talk about money, because the difference is pretty staggering. If you look at the mid-tier plans for the big enterprise tools like Sprout Social or Hootsuite, you're talking hundreds of dollars every single month. But because SocialCraft AI is built on that efficient, modern serverless stack we mentioned earlier, it can deliver its power for just a tiny fraction of that cost. This suddenly makes some seriously advanced tech available to way more people.
And really, this quote kind of says it all. The biggest advantage here is something called technical transparency. Now, what does that mean? It means the whole system is built smart. By using efficient, modern tech, it can give you more power with less cost and less overhead. So you're getting AI logic that's way more advanced than the basic tools, but at a price that just completely undercuts the huge enterprise guys. It's the best of both worlds.
So, I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Just imagine for a second, what would actually happen if your content stopped fighting this constant uphill battle against the algorithms and instead started working with them? What would that do for your reach, for your engagement, and for your brand as a whole? It's a powerful idea to consider.